your activity is to go and check, what am I saying about myself out in the world? What am I saying to people? Or what does my website say about me? And is it true? Have there been changes? Do I need to update anything? Do I need to change anything? My LinkedIn profile is probably so out of date now. I don't think I've been there in 2 years. So, there's little things like that. There's places you hardly ever go to, so they'll need updating. But there's also your main areas, and those are your main areas of conversation.
Mentoring with Geraldine is a bite-sized practitioner podcast for naturopaths, nutritionists, herbalists, coaches, and practitioners. This podcast responds directly to the needs of you, the practicing natural therapist. We have interviews during the holiday season and business and mindset support each week, so you'll get the variety you need to enjoy and stay motivated in your practice. If you want to connect with me, always check the show notes, because that's where you'll find the links to book appointments. Now, let's get started.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mentoring with Geraldine and the Bite Size Podcast. How the devil are you? So if you remember in May, we talked about the clinical confidence work, right? And this is kind of the second layer of that. Mid-year, we had to do our mid-year update. We had to do our finances. We had to talk about money because it's kind of what happens. The tax man wants his cut. So we end up doing those things. So they were in tune with that. So, August, the rest of May kind of had to wait till now. And so it flows in nicely when we think back on what we talked about in May. And next month, we'll be talking about sustainable growth, because you're thinking about where you are now, you're thinking about your identity, and then we're going to move into that area of sustainable growth. So once we've settled that identity, then capacity and pricing, they become really easy answerable questions. Okay. So now, where were we? We're talking about your identity, and we're talking kind of an identity audit. This just made me use the word audit because I just talked about June and July. Anyway, what we want is your up-to-date identity. What we want is the way you connect, the way you communicate, the way you discuss with your colleagues and with new people that you're meeting, so that you can get new clients on board. Our work does evolve, and it evolves quickly. We take on cases more steadily, and we study more, we gain more knowledge. We take on another piece of training, maybe. We've got time in clinical practice to get that recognition, that understanding, and that learning. And suddenly we're looking at our bio, and we're not necessarily that person in the bio. I know when I look at mine, my bio does not reflect who I am now and what I'm doing now. So I can't be the only one. I had to give my bio out to somebody recently, and I had to rewrite it, which is kind of where, how all of these things evolve as well. So our identity does evolve quietly, because as we change, it changes. Okay. And that drift can be almost invisible from the inside, from where we're sitting, from what's going on with us. So when we think about audit, we think about the real cost. We think about change. We think about opportunity. We have talked a lot about opportunity. Kobe, that was about opportunity, wasn't it? Progress, moving forward, think about something different, moving out of the space that he was in. So our opportunities sometimes don't really feel like me, but prices won't rise. Things can't change if you aren't accepting of this new identity and who you are. So we've talked about clinical confidence. We've talked about the relationship of not knowing. And this is where our foundation is. This is making sure that we've got that next layer and the confidence to update how we name ourselves and how we speak about ourselves and how we think about ourselves internally. Okay, it's not arrogance. It's not showing off. It's not tall poppy. It is an understanding of who we are. It's accuracy. And that accuracy then allows us to reduce risk. It feels like risk to upgrade, and yet we're reducing risk because we're being honest. It means that manifestation can happen. It means that we can grow and become. It's really different. And we can also find out, what are you holding on to? What are you not bringing with you? And what are you keeping that's inaccurate about you? Because there is a threshold of visibility that's involved. We have to take that step to be able to do those things. I didn't just wake up one day and go, I'm going to do a podcast. I had a podcast that didn't feel right. and I just let it go. Then I started another one. And if you have to be one of those people who binge listens, then you will have listened to the changes in this podcast over the years. And I've got hundreds of podcasts now. So if you start way back when I started, however long ago that was, you will notice an absolute difference in what I was talking about then, all the way through to these changes now with the Strategy Lab. And these changes mean that we change and things change with us. And if you look at my bio, you will see that it doesn't correspond with what I'm saying about myself as well. So I'm going to have to slowly go around and change that as well. And I do have it in lots of places, obviously. Our identity isn't about who we wish that we were or that we are. Wish that we are, things wish that we are. It's about who we really are. But it's about giving ourselves permission to say who we are and what's going on. So let's think about that reframe, okay? Let's think about what you need to do to achieve that, to get that pivot going. You need to speak your truth, I guess. Not a line I particularly like. I don't know who invented it. I probably should have had that in, rabbit's ears and in inverted commas, speaking your truth. But, oh dear, I hope it's not an Americanism. Anyway, our words come first, don't they? And sometimes the practice catches up, or the practice is ahead of us and our words need to catch up. So we need to think about, where am I? What does my bio say? And what am I saying about myself? So out here in podcast land, that is what I'm leaving you with. That is your activity, is to go and check, what am I saying about myself out in the world? What am I saying to people, or what does my website say about me? And is it true? Have there been changes? Do I need to update anything? Do I need to change anything? My LinkedIn profile is probably so out of date now. I don't think I've been there in 2 years. So, there's little things like that. There's places you hardly ever go to, so they'll need updating. But there's also your main areas, and those are your main areas of conversation. So out there in podcast land, we'll be doing more of this, and we'll be going deeper and discussing other things within Strategy Lab. But as you know, doesn't matter, whoever's listening, you've got a job to do at the end of the podcast, and yours is to check on your identity and see what you need changing and what needs updating. There's more to happen. There's more information happening. We're going to talk about practice. We're going to talk about language. We're going to talk about what things do and don't mention in the Strategy Lab. You've got the link if you want to join in the bio. So I'm going to leave you there. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you want to talk to me, let me know. I have focus call sessions available. They're free. You can chat with me. I've got my Monday group. I've got a clinical group. If you want to talk clinical, or you just want to listen to other people talking clinical, contact me. There's all sorts of things on offer. You can find it all at, www.geraldineheadley.com, all the available offers and all of the other things. But I'm here, and I'm here for you. So let me know if I can help you out. Look forward to seeing you or chatting with you, or you hearing me. That would be you hearing me next week. See ya.
Thanks so much for joining me today. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast for the weekly episodes. Bye for now.